Hey, and welcome back. So in our last video, we focused a lot on trying to find different types of typefaces that, are gonna suit our brand over here, Habitual. We went for different types of typefaces that are a little more humanist. They have a little more variation in the types of letter forms. We tried some more safe bets like Inter, which were kind of like throwbacks to those neo-grotesque types of typefaces. We have one geometric typeface, and that was just to kind of mimic what we have here, the very round little counters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start thinking about, well, I need to choose a typeface here, and I want to choose the one that is going to work best for the types of components and different type of content I'm going to have on my page. The worst thing to do is just pick a typeface out of nowhere and then find out later that, hey, this doesn't really suit what I'm trying to build. It's not necessarily legible. It's not really suiting the brand like I thought it would. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a huge frame. So let's create a big frame. And we'll just call this concepts. So I urge you, while I'm doing this, to do it yourself as well. Think about the types of content that we're going to be designing with, like the type elements that we may have. So I'm going to grab this branding. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm just going to convert this to group just to make it easier because we're just playing around with concepts. So we have our branding. So when I think about the type of content I'm going to see, I'm going to think about maybe the homepage is going to have copy that says, find the stuff that you love. And I'm gonna start using let's use Enter to start it off. Great. I'm probably gonna use 32 pixels and we'll make that bold. A logo, we'll just bring it over here. I think it helps to really see how this plays. How these elements all play well together. Okay, and I may write something like, take a look at what we found for you. So there's maybe 16 pixels and a medium. Okay, so it's starting to look really nice. I'm gonna just try to match this color here. It looks like it fits really well. What else can we do? Well, let's get an image. Let's think about a product image, because there's gonna be a bunch of them on this app. So I'm gonna open up Unsplash. And I'm just gonna type in headphones or something. Cool, that's gonna work. Okay, oh, it's not in our frame. Now it's in our frame. Okay, I think that's good for now. And what I'll do now is probably just write the product name. So let's just say Sony headphones. And then I will write a price. We'll most likely have a price. $65.99. And we probably have some copy. So let's go to our Lorem Ipsum plugin. Let's go to sentences, and maybe we'll just have 2 sentences. Okay, now we can start creating a little more variation in terms of the different types of type elements that we're gonna see. So that's probably that. Maybe it's regular. Probably bold at 16. I think that's fine. We have this. This may be a little bit larger, maybe 20. And look at that. We have a little bit of a product thing here, a product image and everything. Let me take it a little step further and, let's create a little pill that says sale. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select it. Option Command G, we'll make a frame, we'll just call it pill, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to auto layout, we'll do 8 by 8. Actually, we can probably just leave that 0. So 8 by 0, and we're going to go to our border radius, our corner radius, and select 100. And we are going to turn that on. Let's try to match our print. I think that's fine. Okay, and as for the actual type inside there, we'll make it all caps. Probably make it like bold, or maybe side bold. Maybe a little bit of letter spacing. And we can bump this up to like, actually I think that's fine. So, okay, now we have like a little more to see here, like in terms of just the actual versatility of our typeface. And this is definitely a much more versatile typeface than I thought it would be. Everything kind of plays really well together. So, I think this is fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way to the top. And I'm going to make a couple copies. So we have a bunch of copies now, and what I like to do is I just like to select everything, and let's see what it looks like when we start applying other typefaces and how they play together. So that's one. Yeah, you may need to change the styles around just a bit to get it the way you like. Okay, that's gonna be good. This one will do overpass. Okay, I think we need to just change the bold on that to like an extra bold. Maybe this is like an extra bold. I like overpass a lot, actually. I think it looks a lot like our word mark there. What was the other one? Just. Okay, there's a lot of... I think, I still run into the problem here of, just a little bit of legibility, just the way the typeface is. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be a good choice, and I think cabin was the last one. Same with cabin, I mean, there isn't enough of variation here. So we may run into that problem. So that's something definitely to think about. So if I were to go through these different typefaces, I'm going to really think about, okay, well, what is going to suit my content? Number one, what matches like the tone of my brand. So I think like Inter is a really nice one over here. Definitely a really nice brand. I mean, it matches our brand really nicely. Definitely. We have Leto. Oh, I like that one a lot too. I really like just the numbers on it as well. Those are nice. Maybe lower touch contrast. So I like Leto a lot, actually. It's like this in between like serif and a sans serif. There's these nice rounded corners. I mean, it's not too alike in terms of like the actual brand, but it's not too different. And when we kind of zoom out, it's really legible. Overpass over here is really nice. I mean, there's that kind of like a throwback to the word mark. But one thing I don't like about it is like, it's not as legible as the others. It's a little bit more condensed than I thought it would be. And plus, those little intricacies, especially like the K, if you look at that, or what's another letter here that has something like the short, like, tip of the F and the high cross, you know, it makes things a little bit harder to read, especially like the P over here. So I'm probably not gonna go with overpass. Same thing with Jaws here. I mean, we have the issue of like it having low X heights, tall heights over here, and that makes it a little bit harder to read at smaller sizes. So I think, what else we have here? We have cabin. So cabin I like too. The only issue is like, this is bold and this is regular, and those are the two extremes, and there isn't enough contrast. So if I'm going to squint and look at it, notice that, they kind of blur together, and this is probably not going to be a good choice since we're going to have a lot of this together. So my goal here, let's see if I bring this down a notch. I mean, even then, it's still a little too close for my liking. you know, for the sake of it, because I really like the font, I'm going to burn it into my next round. Same with Inter and Leto. So let's bring those in because I like those. So at this point, I mean, you can go ahead, like you can use whatever fonts you want. I'm just showing you my process for elimination. When I'm choosing fonts, I may start creating a little bit more variation in elements to see what really suits us or what's really going to suit our brand. I'm thinking of going with Leto right now just because it's just a really nice typeface in relation. Like, I think the contrast between this and the brand in general is really nice. And it has a sense of like, I don't know, I think like you could just say like trustworthiness in a way. Like it seems really professional. The only problem I have right now with Inter is that it just seems like it's kind of devoid of all emotion, if you want to say, kind of like a Helvetica and other neo-grotesques. So I'm having a hard time kind of settling on that. What else? I mean, cabin there's just not enough variation there. So I think I'm going to stick with Leto right now. That may change, but what I would do is I would start creating different elements like buttons or like paragraphs, body copy to really see. I mean, we may not have a bunch of that in our application, but it's just good practice just to see the variance in your typeface. And I think this is going to work really well if we use it just as a sole typeface on our application. So that's how you pick typefaces for a brand with no type system in place. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to jump into Figma again, and I'm going to start building out a type system.